Hi, friends. I'm host Eric, and this is my delightful and glorious life partner, Rachel. And I want to share with you an important thought that came to me just as I was titling this video. Typology is like a beautiful bouquet of people. Some of them roses, some of them daisies. And I thought it apropos for Valentine's Day. Some of the flowers in the typology bouquet are stink flowers. They're called ESFPs. I'm joking. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I just can't help but tease them. Mic check? Yeah, we're getting audio. We had two people. They quickly left. They were like, I don't want anything to do with this.
ESFPs.
I'm
joking. Well, I mean, I feel like ENTPs would be weed in the bouquet.
We might.
Nah.
We might be carnations.
Carnations?
Yeah.
Carnation is my birth flower.
I didn't know people had a birth flower.
Yeah. Each month has a flower.
I've heard of a birthday, but a birth flower?
Yeah. It's true. It's on my ring.
One. There. 2 minutes in, we get our first person.
Hey, first person. It's not me.
It's you?
No, it's not me.
It's not you. Okay. You and I can make a bunch of accounts and watch ourselves.
Oh, there's two now.
Pretend to chat with ourselves.
Chat talk.
So today,
oh my goodness,
I decided to staged a live stream because we were watching anime. It was kind of a toss-up. Should I live stream? Should I not live stream? We were watching Butler.
I actually like it.
Hi, Andre Z. I like it as well.
Andre Z.
Black Butler is a show. It's a Japanese animation show about a earl in England who has a demon as his butler, basically. And he doesn't look like a demon. He looks like a regular person, but he's got like superpowers, you know?
Yeah. And this Earl is a young kid because his parents died in a terrible fire.
Right. Although it says in the show, a sacrifice, a meow, and a contract, you know?
Oh. So there's something going on there.
A soul and a contract. He may have willfully or knowingly burned his own parents to death in order to get this contract with this demon.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah, that's just my intuition.
I didn't want to say anything, but he does kind of rub me the wrong way sometimes. I don't want him to, but sometimes he does.
Well, he's kind of a, ISTP, a little bit too ISTP as a kid.
Oh.
Okay. You don't want children to be too ISTP too young. I'm just joking, ISTPs. I got no problem with you at all.
They're very serious at a young age.
Yeah, ISTPs are very serious. Just like AIDS and COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, only one of those is serious.
What have you guys been watching? Have you been watching anything? Besides us.
The alternative metaphor to serious as a heart attack is serious as COVID. Oh my God, you're as serious as COVID. Wait, you mean?
Not that serious.
Extremely committed to pretending to be serious?
Oh my gosh, that would confuse girls so much. You and I were COVID serious. So,
right. Yeah, right. So what's our relationship status? Well, we're serious, like COVID serious.
Like,
What does that mean?
exactly.
What types are the hunter people? Gone would seem to be some sort of SFP, right? Killua, I think INTP. Kurapika, I don't know who Kurapika is. I don't remember who that one is.
I don't either.
Leorio is some kind of SFJ or STJ, maybe a nice STJ. A beautiful bouquet or a series of neuroses. Tune in next week to find out.
Hey, Anon. Very straightforward with the name. Appreciate that.
Anon, today you're the angel's breath in our bouquet.
Angel's breath is really nice in bouquets.
I just got out of a coma. What's COVID? Kurapika, blonde dude from Kurta Clan, Red Eyes When Mad. It's been a while since I watched that. I have so many animes between Hunter x Hunter and this moment in history that
yeah.
it's hard for me to say. Freddie
really
Forgiato, you are the Italian flower. What's the most Italian flower you can think of?
Rose.
Rose? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess you're a rose. You're an Italian colored rose. That means you're red, white, and black. And the colors of the Italian flag?
Green.
Green. Red, white, and green. Red, black, and green?
Red, white, and green. Yeah. I don't know how it goes.
So that means what does angel's breath smell like?
Huh. That's a good question.
It smells like a newborn baby. In other words, it smells like placental matter. It smells like afterbirth. Angel's breath smells like afterbirth. If you've ever smelled a pile of afterbirth, you know what You know what I'm talking about. But why? Because God wanted it that way, Anon. God said so.
Yeah, God's deemed it that way.
He's also angered by your questioning.
What if angels smelled really bad? That's very interesting. I mean, you don't hear about a lot of people like hanging out right next to angels and stuff, but they do infer that sometimes they're like with you. Your guides are like with you.
Well, the thing is, angels could smell really bad, but their breath could smell really good.
Yeah.
It really kind of depends on their diet, you know. If their diet comprises nothing but wintergreen mint and fresh mountain spring water,
and like their skin is like angel soft
bath tissue.
Bath tissue, yeah.
That's where they got the name from. They tested the softness of their bath tissue and it turned out to be exactly the same softness as an angel.
I mean, that's
so it was a natural name.
I would think that that's really soft. They don't really, but I could be wrong.
Stinky Angel brand peanut butter is becoming real popular these days. So not everybody thinks angels smell well.
See,
that's so good or well for them. They may smell poorly. They may not even have a sense of smell because all they eat is wintergreen and mountain spring water.
Nicolas Cage is an angel. Andrezi, I'm not sure about that.
Nicolas Cage's angels and battles them against each other as like an angel fighting ring.
Oh my gosh.
Underground angel fighting ring.
The only reason why I say that he's not an angel is because everyone thinks Keanu Reeves is an angel. They always have like these like glowing.
I'd say they think Keanu Reeves is a saint. Maybe they do think Nicolas Cage is an angel.
Okay, so we should have Nick Cage go against Keanu Reeves.
Oh, you want to have Nick Cage and Keanu Reeves in a death match?
Yeah.
Underground death match?
Yeah, like.
I like that idea. Who do you think would win, Nicolas Cage or Keanu Reeves? I think Nicolas Cage would pull a surprise victory. I really do.
You know why?
Why?
Because Keanu Reeves.
He's wiry.
He's wiry. Nicolas Cage is wiry, and Keanu Reeves is Canadian.
The other thing is Keanu Reeves' unshakably noble nature would allow Nicolas Cage to pull one of those underhanded moves like, okay, enough. And Keanu goes, all right, bro, and brings down, and then Nick Cage throws sand in his eyes.
Yes. I don't know if both are INFPs. I think Keanu is an ISFP.
I think Nicolas Cage, I don't know what type he is.
No, I don't. I have no clue what he is either.
I'm a pig too.
Yeah.
Hi, pig. Fellow pig. Bubble puppy. You and I can both celebrate being pigs together. I'm pigging out right now on some tobacco and coffee.
Nicolas Cage has more life experience. I don't know about that actually. See, because Nick Cage was he's related to fudge.
Valerie Bertinelli.
No, but close.
Liza
Not at
Minnelli.
all. No.
Judy Garland.
No, in the men's section of those kind of people.
Clark Gable.
No. Who directed the Godfather?
Sidney Poitier? Oh, who directed The Godfather?
Yeah.
Scorsese?
No.
Who did direct The Godfather?
Please help me here.
I don't know who directed The
Who
Godfather.
directed
You just improve his rakish good looks, emailed Anthrax.
So he
That's all it
actually
would be. He look even hotter with an eye patch.
Francis Coppola. Thank you, Broccoli Sad. So actually, Nick Cage is a Coppola, and he changed his last name to Cage so that they wouldn't be like, oh, you're just like a Coppola.
He's just another Coppola.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He's like a cousin or something. There's a lot
like
of
Emilio
Coppolas
Estevez. You know, he changed his name from Sheen, right? He's a Sheen.
Yeah, he's a Sheen. He is a Sheen.
But he changed his name to Emilio Estevez. Why? He doesn't seem Mexican at all, you know?
I have no clue. Is he? Does he think that Estevez is more Spanish than like?
Does he have some sort of like Mexican heritage that he's
That's a good question.
claiming with that name, or
I
is
do
it
want to know.
he just liked the name? I don't know. I just like the way it sounds, Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, I want to know.
I just want to sound like a guy that has a gardening service, you know?
Yes. Nick Cage's cousin is Sofia Coppola, so he is a cousin. Yeah. I thought so. He's like second cousin, I guess that would mean, to Francis Ford Coppola.
Now, listen, email that. I might be interested in that, but here's the deal. I already know how challenging it is to legally ship biohazardous material, and I'm a little worried about the shipping concerns here. So unless you're planning on investing in the shipping costs, you're talking about another couple grand at least, because you're gonna have to get specialized shipping, do that legally. I'm assuming you're acquiring the eye legally. I don't know how you acquired it.
My mind is kind of blown, though. Apparently, his father is legally an Estevez as well. So Martin Sheen is potentially
Martin Estevez. And how did he get to be an Estevez?
Maybe he thought like
Mrs. Sheen had sex with the gardener?
Don't worry about it. You know email anthrax? Is that why? You part of this?
Are you telling me, email anthrax, that Keanu Reeves' eye fell off the back of a truck? I find that hard to believe. I'm sorry. That's I would love to own it and have it in a display case here at my house. Sure, of course. Who wouldn't love that? But I need to know that it was legally acquired. Okay. I need a letter from the Pope. I am not a cacksucker.
I like that though.
I like it too.
Okay. Ramon Antonio
Gerardo Estevez, known professionally as Martin Sheen, is an American actor. Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Where was he born, Octavio Silva? Or like, did they say his heritage? Because like, it could have been that Martin Sheen thought that, you know, if he was Ramon Antonio Gerardo Estevez, it's like, hello.
Why did you change your name just because only white people get in movies or something like that? Yeah, okay, totally. I get it then. I buy it then. Yeah. I totally buy it. It's like, fuck that. I want to be my actual name.
I honestly now, though, have so much respect for Emilio Estevez. Because he was like, no,
And he still was successful, even though his name was Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, he actually really was.
Now,
yes.
What I want to see the Sheen family.
Ireland?
The Sheen family needs to interbreed with the Douglas family, Michael Douglas and Kirk Douglas and stuff. I want to see the Sheens and the Douglases mate.
His mother was from Ireland. So that's the Sheen part, probably.
I want to see the Sheens mate with the Douglases. Okay?
Right? That's what I want too.
I want half the children to take on the name Sheen, half the children to take on the name Douglas, and half the children to take on the name Estevez.
Can we have some more Barrymores? I'm afraid that.
Let's impregnate Drew Barrymore with a Douglas and a Sheen. So it could be Barrymore Douglas Sheen.
Oh my gosh.
And a Baldwin too.
Yes.
Let's get a Baldwin up in there.
Sheen's versus Baldwin's is good.
I want artificially implanted triplets in Drew Barrymore. I want them to be all from her ovums, but I want the fathers to be a Baldwin, a Sheen, and a Douglas.
Okay.
Cross with a Barrymore. So then you've got Douglas Barrymore, Sheen Barrymore, and Baldwin Barrymore. Hyphen Barrymore. Ooh. Then I want two of those children to marry each other so they become Baldwin, Barrymore, Douglas Sheen. And of course, the first name's going to be something like Squirrel. Squirrel, Autumn, Barrymore, Douglas, Sheen, Baldwin.
Oh my gosh, that's a mouthful.
Stick the Sutherlands in there too.
Oh, okay, her mother's name is Playin.
That was Charlie, I believe. Charlie's sort of the world's poster child for celebrity drug problem.
Yeah, I mean he is in that video.
He's in a Lil Pumps video.
Yeah.
Called
he deserves to
bunch
be
of
there,
drug addicts up in here or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I no longer think he's winning. But I do.
But you do still think he has Tiger's blood, right?
Yeah, okay. I do think that he's.
That's the important thing.
Yeah,
as long as you got Tiger's blood still, you're fine.
Is that what Kiva means? Who is on the butt?
That's where AIDS came from. Actually. Charlie Sheen had sex with a tiger who had AIDS. She had tiger AIDS, and that's how. That's both how he got AIDS and got his scrotum mold. But the ending to
scrotum molds for him?
Oh yeah, there was scrotum mold involved.
Oh my god, Charlie Sheen!
It's been a long time since I've seen the overly emotional female around here.
I've never seen the overly.
It's been a long ass time since I've seen her. She's INFP, I believe, self-identified INFP.
Oh, we were actually talking about angels before.
I gotta say, an INFP calling herself overly emotional is remarkably good objective self-analysis.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's why I'm going to say, Rich, do you have a drink? Or did I just have
no, wait. I do. But wait.
Cheers to you, INFPs of the world. Cheers to you.
You INFPs taught me how to cry. For what? When I lost.
Charlie, the ending of 2.5 Men is Charlie, shown only from the back, approaches the beach house and rings the bell, but before anyone answers the door, he is killed when the helicopter drops a piano on him. The camera then pulls back to reveal the series set and Chuck Lorre sitting in the director's chair. He says, "Winning!" breaking the fourth wall just before a second grand piano falls on him.
I never knew that.
That's a fairly, spiteful ending. Well, I guess they were mad at Charlie. I can't blame them for being mad at Charlie Sheen, but he was such a train wreck that how could you really be that mad at him?
They literally, I remember, the creator, Chuck Lorre, he had lunch with, what's his name? And basically was like, I'm okay with what you're doing, but, we can't have you as the
person on the show.
Yeah, and like and Charlie Sheen at this point was like, "Fine, that's totally fine by me," you know, like he didn't give a fuck.
Well, he does now. He gives a fuck now.
Does he?
Well, I believe he now has hepatitis or something.
He has AIDS.
Oh, he has AIDS.
Yeah. Big time.
That's a step up from hepatitis.
Yeah, that's what I'm blowing up all these celebs. That's what hep is what Pamela has. Pamela Anderson.
She's dead, right?
No, she's not dead. She's not dead. She's
Who's
got
the one who's
married.
dead?
Nicole Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole
Smith,
yeah.
And
Nicole Smith.
Anna Nicole Smith is dead, but I always get her confused with Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson has AIDS, huh?
No, hepatitis.
Oh, Pamela Anderson has hepatitis.
Yeah, she
How
has.
did Pamela Anderson get hepatitis? I wonder.
I don't know. She ended up sleeping with Tommy Lee again.
Tommy Lee. Why? What is it about you that women are so drawn to you?
I don't get it.
Why is it that all these women want to have sexual intercourse with Tommy Lee? Tommy Lee seems really like just the grossest kind of like heavy metaler.
He is. He is. There's like someone wrote a rock book about Motley Crue, and they were saying how like grotesque they were.
Hepatitis. She was infected by sharing a tattoo needle with her ex-husband.
See?
She's been cured of hepatitis C, actually.
I don't know about that.
Well,
I've
let's
never.
see.
Well, good. If she is cured of it, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. But it was because of
Pamela Anderson has announced that she's been cured of hepatitis C after living with the virus for 16 years.
Oh. Well, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. She just got married.
To whom? Tommy Lee?
No, right?
Is Tommy Lee dead?
You want to hear how like porny this is?
Not really.
Okay.
Well, what is it about? Stories about Motley Crue?
Oh no, it's about Pamela.
Oh yeah, sure.
Her marriage.
Yeah.
So this dude was doing like architecture work on her house.
Uh-huh.
And they fell in love, so she upped his status to bodyguard. And then one night they just like went off and got married, and the wife of the bodyguard was like, "What?" I'm like, "You're still at it, Pam Anderson. You're still at it."
Oh, you mean the bodyguard guy had a wife?
Yeah. Some people, some things don't change. She's always going to be swept away by the idea of marriage.
That's sad. Some kid drowned in a swimming pool.
Really?
Yeah. He's been married 4 times.
Wow.
Just look at him.
No.
He's just such a douchebag. He's such a Brody.
Yeah.
You know? He's such a dirty Brody. It says the best name for Tommy Lee.
Pamela Anderson is a huge Julian Assange groupie. I wouldn't be surprised. I have heard that she's an escort. I have heard of that, but really, I mean, like, how many times she's gotten married? A bunch of times. She's gotten married a bunch of times. She's like J-Lo, kind of in that way. Like, love, so they'll like always be in relationships. There's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, Pam, the dude had a wife. Like,
Broccoli Todd says Derek Jeter gave half of Hollywood herpes.
I believe that.
I don't know. He didn't give it to me.
That's good.
Yeah. When we had sexual intercourse, there was no kissing. It was just he put on a rubber and just I took it up the butt. That was it.
Aww.
Is Derek Jeter famous for having sex with lots of women?
What?
Is Derek Jeter actually famous for having sex with lots of different women?
He's known for being, he like dated a lot of famous women. So like I wouldn't say he dated a lot of women, but in between dating famous women, he used to sleep with a lot of women, and he's known for his gift baskets.
Thanks for sucking my dick.
Yeah.
Here's a gift basket.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's Derek Jeter.
Hilarious.
Right?
Well, I mean, I guess it's sort of polite, except if you become known for giving gift baskets to women you have sex with, then it's not very, you don't feel very special when you get one, I guess.
You don't.
Right?
No. This chick, she actually said it like on a talk show too. She's like, I'm there. And he's like, oh, I wonder who it was. She's like, and I'm leaving, and he hands me this basket. And it's got all his signed stuff in it, and like a bathrobe and like nice stuff.
It's got a bunch
like,
of Derek Jeter paraphernalia.
Yeah.
It's like that's awesomely hilarious in a weird way. Hey, email anthers, will you stop trying to sell celebrity body parts here?
Yeah, please. Come on. She needs those things. You know those are money makers. She's also Canadian.
First I'll give you some of this, then I'll give you a gift basket full of me. Full of Derek.
Yeah, right? Like, thank you. I'm going to go
here's a bar of
on
soap I
eBay
used
and
one
sell
time.
this. You have posters of Jeter on your wall. Dude, as you speak. I didn't meet. He's a great player. He's still a great player. Like, you know, he'll be known as one of the best shortstops in history, but he still has a sleep around rep.
Well, I mean, Wilt Chamberlain claims to have slept with 30,000 women in his life.
Wilt Chamberlain?
Yeah.
You know who's like that? Ew, Wilt Chamberlain?
Yeah. Wilt the Stilt. 30,000 women in your life. I mean, okay, assuming you start when you're 15, okay, and you do one a day, and you're never going to get to 30,000, right?
Oh my God.
Because you get to 3,600 or 4,000 or something after 10 years, you're 25. 7,800 after 20 years. And then you're still not going to get 30,000. So he has to do like 3 a day, you know?
Yeah.
He has to do like 3 different women a day.
How do you get anything done? You wouldn't.
Well, I mean, all you had to do was play a game of basketball every day. It wasn't like it's a particularly demanding.
True. He could just get a
There's 17,520 days in between the ages of 15 and 63. So to have 30,000 women, you have to have slightly less than 2 women a day. Every day.
Wow.
Every day for the entirety of his sexually active life. I mean, no, this is not my claim. This is his claim. This is Wilt Chamberlain's claim. I think he's got to have overstated it at some point here.
You know who was a playboy too? Was the guy who was in the movie Hair? Not Hair. Oh my gosh, he was in Bonnie and Clyde. Warren Beatty.
Warren
Warren
Beatty,
Beatty. He's supposed to have
famous
stuff with
player.
like a lot of women. He's known for that. And then like he's known for like meeting Annette Bening and being like, all right, I'm done, supposedly.
I'm quite sure, Sean's dad, that nobody wishes to take you up on your offer there. 8.2 per day if you did it in 10 years. Well, I don't think Wilt's claiming to have done it in 10 years. I think he's claiming to have done it over the course of his entire life. So we're going to have to give him from about 15 till the day he died. Assuming he's still able to go at the same rate at 15 or 20 as he is at 63. I mean, I wouldn't be impressed. Like Rachel, I would mostly think, what an incredible waste of time.
I mean,
like, he must not have done anything
else.
But
I mean, look.
Play basketball and have sex.
He probably did. But like, I mean, like, you have to have energy for basketball.
I don't know. He's there are. It really depends. I think somewhat on type and somewhat on just nature and like how much sex drive you have. There are men with a very high sex drive that want to have sex multiple times a day. Mm-hmm. I'm not one of them, and I never was. It's not like I was when I was 16 or something. I still didn't really ever. It's like having sex more than one time a day was just showing off. That's how it was always been. You know, it's like there's not an actual drive to do so. That's pushing me, but I think that's not the case for some men. I think that they really have incredibly voracious sexual appetites. I'm very grateful that I'm not one such individual because I think it means that you spend way too much time doing sensory shit that's pointless. You know, having I guess I mean. I'd rather not hide you, but why so silly?
Yeah.
Charlie Chaplin died at 70, and was he known to hump a lot of ladies?
Yeah, I'm like,
I suspect it's a child. I think I've seen this person, Sean's dad, around here before being normal, so it might be Sean. The sitting down at dad's computer. I don't know. Possible.
Yeah, it could be.
Anywho.
Has he Tom's dream life? Maybe
it's like, to me, the equivalent
had
of
a kid at 70?
Really?
I mean,
it's just, if I'm thinking about debauchery in general, it's like debauchery is gratifying when it's in conjunction with, I guess, I guess it's just what your stack mostly is inclined towards. So it's like, for me, debauchery involves watching a bunch of NI linkage stuff that's satisfying on kind of an NI. I don't know why I like anime so much, but gorging on that is a good form of debauchery. And it's not the sort of thing that typically is going to be considered too hedonistic, really, but it's the same sort of thing as whatever it is you're into wasting time on, I guess.
Okay, so I really do wonder if anime follows the same rule as porn. If it's done in a movie,
or if you can talk about it at all, there's porn about it.
Yeah, right. And I wonder if that's the same for anime. It's just.
I've watched some really I could spend a great deal of time talking about all the different animes I've been watching. But I really feel to some extent like I need to gather my thoughts about it in general. I need to sort of organize my list of animes that I've watched and kind of find similarities and make connections and do a little bit more prep work before I start ideating too much about it. I will say that I have seen animes about just about everything. Probably the strangest one I've ever seen is the one about the guy who has a male mermaid come live in his bathtub.
I still think
that's a really strange one.
I think the strangest that I saw was the hand over mouth one.
That was really odd as well.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was for kids or for adults. I didn't like it. What was it called? Something's hand over mouth life. It just was like there was even a character in it, and she like kind of looked like me, so I was like, cool. I could use her as an icon, right? So I'm like, before I make this as an icon, I should see if I really like this. And I watched it a second time, and I was like, this stuff is crap. I couldn't like it.
What are you talking about exactly? It was crap?
The hand over mouth.
Oh, yeah. It's crap.
Yeah.
Then, on the other hand, there are some really good, weird ones, like Kyclos Greek Olympus. But the thing is, that's a very NE statement to make. What Seamus the Drunk says. Don't know where I'd be if I didn't have NE. I'd actually be cutting down trees in the woods or something real, like a real man, providing for the family. It's a very NE statement to make. Very self-deprecating about the uselessness of one's own, either dominant or tool function. Provocatively, unnecessarily, in all caps, despite or perhaps because you've been scolded about it before.
I want to say Happy New Year to all those who celebrate Chinese New Year. It is now Year of the Ox.
And if you don't celebrate Chinese New Year, I want to wish you a happy Chinese Zodiac Day. And here's some fireworks.
Oh, that's probably why.
Yeah.
It's cute. Chinese Lunar New Year.
I have watched some odd things. Like, I just finished watching Standing on a Million Lives, which is really strange in the way that it ends, I guess. I don't know if it's the end of that season, if it's the end of the manga or what. But it's a story about these kids who get sucked into an alternate world where they're like characters in a role mass in an MMORPG. Except the thing about it is, the boy, the hero of it, he kills somebody in the virtual world, and he thinks it's virtual, but he learns thereafter that it's not virtual. That he actually killed the person, and then the game master, and then back in his real world, he does things to prevent bad things from happening, and those people get drawn in to be players. And the game master is supposed to have taught him a lesson about the value of life or whatever. But the boy ends up going the other direction and becoming nihilistic and going, I have learned something. I've learned that I'll do what I want, and all life is disposable and subject to my whims or something. I don't do it because it's worth doing, but rather because it's going to help me. That's what I learned. And it's like, okay, is there a second season of this? Because all through the thing, this guy's the good guy, right? And just at the very end, like maybe the last episode or two, he starts questioning a couple things, but then all of a sudden he just sort of turns evil all of a sudden.
That's weird.
So, I mean, I didn't know quite what to make of the ending of that one. I recently watched Shangen Ashtura or whatever it's called on Netflix.
On Netflix with the guy with the green hair.
Well,
turns into a lord.
No, that I watched as well. That was called Grand Crest War, History of the Grand Crest War. Anyway, the one I'm talking about is the one with the old Japanese businessman who always had his mouth wet. I was always like that. And the young guy who was fighting for him, you may not have seen many episodes of it. I may have watched it mostly when I was.
Oh, like the good Baki?
Yeah, like the better Baki.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Same subject matter, but.
Yeah.
Eric, do you think TI first, second users are least likely to use filler words? No. I think NI DOMs are least likely to use filler words. It's minus 9 degrees outside and 5 a.m. And soon you have to ride your bike 22 kilometers. Step 1, stop measuring things in Celsius and kilometers. Okay, there's your problem number 1. You're using the wrong units of measure. Yeah. Or I think, look, that storyline, I think, was originally like a Twilight Zone or Outer Limits or one of those kind of things. The storyline of the box that you push a button, you get $10 million, someone dies, and you don't know who. And then, of course, I think the trick of it is then they take the box back and you get your $10 million, and they give the box to somebody else, and they say, if you push the button, you get $10 million, somebody dies. If you do push it, the person who just got the $10 million dies. And then I guess they just take that person's $10 million and give it to the next person until someone refuses to push the button, presumably. Monkey Paw is an old short story that was written by some British guy in the time of the era of like Britain colonializing India. And it's a story of like an old British expeditioner coming back and saying, for some reason, he still has it with him. He's never used it, but he arrives at his friend's house where the father and the mother and the son live. And he says, oh, this old monkey's paw. It's time to just throw it in the fire. This thing is no good. It'll cause you no good to play around with this thing. Okay, first of all, why did you bring it to my house to destroy it, in the fireplace? If it's so dangerous?
Who said that?
No, this is what I'm thinking from the story, okay?
Yeah.
Because the guy comes to visit and he brings this dangerous relic,
really?
which he decides upon arrival to burn in the fireplace, right? Because it's so dangerous. Why didn't he dispose of it somewhere prior to my house, if it's so dangerous? Anyway, of course, after hearing the story about how it grants wishes, the greedy son pulls the monkey's paw out of the fire and he makes, and he tells his dad, make a wish, Dad, make a wish. And the dad says, well, we are a little behind. I could sure use next month's mortgage payment. How about 200 pounds sterling? I wish for 200 pounds sterling. And then the monkey paw does something and nothing happens. And I go, well, I guess it doesn't work. The next day, the son goes to work and is killed in an industrial accident. And the company pays as a, damages to the family. Guess how much? 200 pounds. That's when the father realizes, oh no, I'm responsible for this. Well, guess what? The father feels so guilty that eventually he picks up the monkey paw and he wishes that his son were back alive. Well, that night during a dark storm, there's a scratching and clawing at the door. And the wife comes down and says, no, you mustn't. It's not human. And she takes the monkey paw and wishes the husband's wish away. And that uses up the 3 wishes of the monkey paw. I guess for that family. Presumably it could still be restarted with 3 new wishes.
I like that. Well, that's a interesting tale.
Yeah. So basically, my thinking at that point was, well, why not just use the 3rd wish to wish that neither of the previous wishes had been taken effect, rather than just the last of the 2 wishes, right? Me, I like vanilla ice cream. ENTJs, you're a racist. How long is one Ben Shapiro in meters? I don't know.
That's a good question.
I would say he's
either.
less than a kilometer and more than a millimeter. Somewhere between there.
What ENTJs would say to me, you're not maximizing your life. You're not making the most of it. Why aren't you doing more? What's your name? Yeah, I don't really think that ENTJs. You know, I'm going to be totally blunt. This might get me in trouble, but I mean, my mom's totally racist. Like, 100%.
I think it's going to get you in trouble.
Okay, cool. So, she moved to Myrtle Beach where it's like, you know, pretty white in South Carolina. You know, at least Myrtle Beach area. And,
she's talking about the sand, of course.
yeah.
The sand in Myrtle Beach is white as the freshly driven snow.
Yeah. But I don't think it has anything to do with her cognitive functions. I think it has everything to do with the way that she was raised. I don't know, Broccoli Todd. I don't want to make that blanket statement. I don't know.
My dad's not.
Yeah, I don't think your dad.
My dad's not racist.
And it doesn't seem like, you know, Jeffrey's parents don't seem racist. Like, you could just like tell. Like,
I don't know. I don't know who the most racist type is or whatever. I think that that people, there's a lot of groupists out there, and the thing to remember is that racists are no different than any other groupists, except to be openly racist in this era is to be groupist without a good FE constraint.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't play at all, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not really any worse than hating Democrats, but people think it's a lot worse, right?
Yeah, and it's not like she doesn't even like mean to be. Like, she'll just say something like that's just totally racist, and it's like, Mom, like, you gotta watch yourself. And then she's like, oh, I didn't know.
It's okay, Rachel. They're Mexicans. They love serving.
Yeah.
I don't know if she said that. I've never heard her say anything racist. So, me, water is wet. ENTJs. Where's the stats, bro? Where are the stats?
Yeah, where are the stats? You know, I think, I don't know, I just, ENTJs and INFJs, I can't find the link.
My mom was more
I have small hands.
He sort of treats everybody according to how competent they are at what they do. Oh, is it buffering? Are we having problems?
No.
We got a couple of different people saying that. Is it back? Are we back like Slim Shady?
I'm a pretty small person, Legends Fall. I'm only 5'2". That's in feet.
But she fucks like she's 5'4".
Thanks, babe.
We're back. We were gone briefly because
Hello.
we're running Super Bowl commercials. Leftover Super Bowl commercials right now. That's what happened. We were wondering where we went. Hello, are we actually back, or are we just kind of still cutting out? Are we still back? Are we back?
You were asking.
5'2". Good thing that's not in me. Good point. Let's just fall.
That is a good point.
That, you know, it's like I don't think I've ever seen a woman taller than me, although I know there are women taller than me, but I don't think I've ever actually encountered one in my life.
No.
Do ESTJs and INFJs share any traits? It is extremely difficult for my dad and Rachel to find kind of common ground. Not that they're at any odds with each other.
No.
But my dad's expectations as to what comprises a a woman family member, for example, and the reality of two intuitives are miles apart from each other.
Yeah.
It's like he's used to SFJs. He's used to my mom. He then with my first wife the first wife was over quick, right? The second wife, the wife that I was married to for a long time, was ESFJ. And then there was Kimberly, and she was ISFJ. And my mom's ISFJ. And he's comfortable with that half of Alpha Quadra, the SFJs. He and I have always had a bit of seeing past each other, maybe. But I feel like we're starting to close some of that distance, maybe.
Well, I wanted to mention actually, because I didn't yesterday, that your dad stopped by while you were taking a nap, and he was like, "That was very nice. We had a very nice time. It was unexpected that Delilah was there, and it was just a very nice time." I was like, "Yeah, it really was." So I think he was overall satisfied with that like whole interaction, and that'll keep him satisfied for a while. Yeah. But
no, because of type. He doesn't want us to be married, Raphael.
No, actually.
Raphael says, well, because you basically live in his house without being married. We don't basically live in his house. We do live in his house.
And he doesn't want us to get married.
And he does not want us to get married.
No.
So,
will I be like shunned upon as a person because I'm not married?
By whom?
As society people.
Society people?
Yeah, like, I don't know.
We're worried about the Kensingtons and what they think with their Rolls Royce. I don't think we know any society people.
No.
I say, those two are living in sin. What is this, 1874?
Yeah, my mom's not warm and fuzzy at all. That's why sometimes the way that I learned how to be is very like independent, like stay out of people's business kind of. Like my mom taught me a few recipes. She taught me how to clean my room, and she taught me how to do my laundry. Everything else was like, figure it out yourself. So
the thing that you have that most people cannot claim at your age, that if you want to impress society people, it's impressive, is you've never been divorced.
No.
And you don't have any kids.
No.
So it's like, you also don't have any tattoos.
No.
Those things are much more impressive to the society people.
I'm really innocent, honestly. Like,
the Kensingtons are just really surprised that you don't have 6 exes and with a different 6 kids, each with a different ex.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. This is a tough topic to talk about because people can get touchy about it, but for some reason, like a lot of influencers on YouTube and stuff are like having kids, and that's like the new thing. Like having kids.
Having kids is not a new thing.
It's not a new thing, but I guess I'm just like so aware of it.
Well, right, so let me tell you.
Just,
our knot is tied, regardless of whether we're officially married.
Of course. I feel the same way. I just kind of want to be like, stop having kids to some of those influencers. So, like,
here's the thing. It's not okay to be racist any more than it's okay to be groupist in any other sense. It's also not okay to put racism in a separate category of special wrongness for groupists. Groupists are all the same. whether you hate women, Democrats, Asians, Europeans, whether you hate men or women or people with sideburns. It's like whatever groupist bullshit you have is all equally stupid. So you might say, well, racism has been used to justify more wrongdoing.
Oh, beauty.
I would agree that race is a particularly nefarious make-believe group in that regard, because it would seem to, I guess a better word to say besides hate would be blame. So if your goal is to blame a group for what's wrong with society, then you both misunderstand how things come to be and exemplify groupism in general. Right. Well, the thing, if you're assigning an arbitrary limit to an individual because of a group that you assign them to, that they may or may not self-identify as, then that's a problem. Now, if in fact you're talking about cognitive functions, this is one of the trickiest things about cognitive functions. Cognitive functions is different. If I talk about people, for example, if I talk about people with BPD, I'm not being groupist. If I talk about high IQ people, I am being groupist because IQ is arbitrary. If I talk about ESFPs, I'm actually not being groupist because I'm describing people who definitionally engage with the world in the way that I'm complaining about. So, in other words, if they engage in the world consistently that way, they are ESFPs. If they are ESFPs, they consistently engage in the world that way. So I'm not making any false claims. And if you don't act like that, then you're not an ESFP. You know, it's like it's a real label for a group. Just like, for example, people under this line can't ride on this ride. There's an actual distinction. It's saying we have a criterion to gauge and we use it, right? And so you fall into this category and not that category. So those are real distinctions. It's important to make the distinction between kinds of distinctions. Race is not a real thing. Gender doesn't. I mean, sex is real, but conferring onto an individual certain qualities because of their sex is groupist on gender. You know, so.
Yeah, groupist is not good.
In general, you might call all this stuff identitarian. So another identitarian thing that you might do is to say, well, that's the sort of argument that meows make. That's an identitarian thing. It's like.
But then wouldn't some of the things that you say be identitarian when it comes to ESFPs?
Well, the thing is that's correct if, in fact, ESFPs were the wrong kind of group label. So, for example, if I were to say, well, that's the kind of thing that Democrats say, or liberals say, or feminists say, or say, right, or centrists say, or libertarians say, or conservatives say, all of those things are groupist. If I say that's the sort of argument ESFPs make, I am defining ESFPs as people who make those arguments, and people who make those arguments as ESFPs. And Rachel, I want to say thank you for challenging me on that point. It's appreciated. Raphael, you are incorrect to say that she unveiled some wrongness on my part.
No.
Because what she did was allow me to clarify that this does in fact apply to what I'm saying. This is what I was saying in general.
Yeah.
So, like Raphael, the reason you're the way you are consistently and not some other way consistently is an explanation. Okay? Forget all the details you want to put in there. Raphael, you are consistently like this, right? This is not anomalous. You don't change how you are. You're not sometimes really prioritizing introverted thinking. You're not sometimes really prioritizing extroverted feeling. This is how you are consistently, right? So when I describe you as somebody who doesn't value extroverted feeling, who consistently doesn't attain good outcomes on an extroverted feeling metric, I'm not being groupist, right? I'm accurately describing you and your behavior. You might say something about me. Eric, why do you always frame up? Why do you always go down? Why do you always use logic to parse these things out? Why don't you recognize that a lot of things it's about utility, or a lot of things it's about NI or whatever, right? So, well, you can observe that 90% of people who self-identify as libertarian agree with me. Yeah, that's true. My point is, it's a bad idea to self-identify as one of those, as being inside one of those boxes. I don't describe them as shameless, morally corrupt people. I've never said that about ESFPs. Well, I might have. I might have said it as a joke, kind of, but I have never. I do not maintain they are shameless, morally corrupt people. That's not my argument. My argument is they continue to run afoul of this environment because they don't prioritize meanings that are stated. I'm not saying you can't logic, and I didn't say that. You know, Raphael, here's the deal. You're exactly the kind of person who's likely to next accuse me of straw manning you. You know, if anybody wants to know what a straw man argument is,
I do.
A straw man argument is what I said about Raphael was the reason he approaches problems and questions in the same way consistently, which is to say, not prioritizing the logical parsing, but some other metric, be it NI, holistic matters, TE, utility, or whatever, that, you know, he consistently doesn't use TI logic to determine these things and is resistant to it in these chats, right? And he's saying that I said he can't logic because his brain is too small. I didn't say anything of the sort, right? I'm saying that you're applying a different metric to adjudicate the legitimacy of things. That's why you and I are frequently in conflict, right? And I was specifically talking about FE. Raphael, so if you were interested in parsing this logically, instead of asking that question, you would say something purposeful, right? Well, I mean, what I'm saying is, by a straw manning meme like that, right? By commuting or transmuting what I actually said into something that's bullshit, you show that you're not interested in doing any kind of real parsing of things, right? If you were interested in really parsing out what was being said, you'd actually deal with what I said, not what you wish I had said. That's one of the main pieces of proof that we have, right? Is that you tend to avoid what I actually say. So let's see.
Men like gods. I think if you're smart enough to wear a helmet, you're likely too smart to be a narcissist.
So Raphael, that's a good indication as well that you're not doing a good job of, I guess, listening, because you said no logic, and I ask where, and you say meow meow meow. Because I didn't say meow meow meow, right? So this is proof of what I'm saying, that you're not interested in using words based on what they mean. You're interested in being provocative, confrontational.
Okay, we's crazy.
And this wouldn't be the first time if I have to time you out for your stubbornness about it. But I didn't, in this instance, Raphael, you positioned meow 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 as my response to what you said, but that wasn't my response to what you said. So you're being deceptive, aren't you? You're not being reasonable or logical. You're not being fair. You're not being smart. You're being deceptive, right?
Yeah.
And there's an important lesson to learn here, isn't there? Because time and time again, you keep coming back, making the same mistakes. I explain, well, that links to your type, whatever it is. I'm not sure exactly what type you are, but whatever type it is, you consistently make certain kind of mistakes, right? Look, if you don't answer my question right away, you try to deceive me, so I go to meow, meow, meow in my head watching your lips move straight right away. What question did you ask that I didn't answer? You asked, where is your logic? Where is your logic broken? And I gave you a perfectly good example. Right? You said, I have no basis for saying that you're logically inconsistent. I didn't say you were logically inconsistent. I said you don't use logic as a metric to decide the legitimacy of things. That doesn't mean every one of your conclusions is logically inconsistent. Okay? Those are different things. The fact that you don't distinguish between them is, however, a good example of you not using logic. Okay? And I'm not meowing. So it's not that, Jeff Shaw. Again, we're talking about if you want to address the actual meaning of words and take seriously what a person says, you try to focus on what they say that makes sense or doesn't, right? So what you just said here, Raphael's logic isn't flawed. That's incorrect. That doesn't mean Raphael's wrong. I'm not saying Raphael's wrong, okay? His, whatever it is, be it NI or SI or TE or FE or whatever metric it is that he's using instead of TI, may be the correct metric in a given circumstance. He may even be right now, but he is wrong to call it logic. And there's not any disputing that. So to say that he's parsing things logically is incorrect, factually, objectively incorrect. That wasn't a comment. She asked a question, Raphael. Again, you're trying to create bullshit out of not bullshit. She didn't make a statement. She asked a question.
Yes.
Right? Raphael? Correct or not? Let's try to make a little progress here. Yes or no? Did she make a statement or did she ask a question?
I do like flowers, Winston's mom.
So then here's the thing. What do we call Raphael's particular brand of stubbornness? Is it TI polar? It certainly is TI countervaluing at least. In other words, he's showing he does not value TI with his active rejection of it throughout the process, right? At the very least. He may or may not get TI. Is he an ESFP? I don't know. Is he an ENFP? I don't know. Is his TI first or second slot? Absolutely not. Is that a legitimate description of him? Yes. Is it an unfair groupist kind of boxing of him? No. That's where we're getting back to ultimately, right? Is typology an unfair groupist boxing like race or gender or these other things? And the answer is no, they're not the same. And the answer to Raphael's question, can a question be a statement, is no. It can't. They are fundamentally different things. There are statements, there are questions, and there are commands. Raphael, you should refer to me as Eric Sama. Okay? San's not fancy enough for me. You need to call me Sama. If you're going to use a Japanese honorific, I want to either be Sama or perhaps Kun. If you think I'm being really cute and adorable, you can use Kun.
Am I Rachel Kuhn?
You're Rachel Chan? I think girls are Chan, boys are Kun. Or do I have it backwards?
Eric Chun.
No, I'm Eric Kuhn. You're Rachel Chan.
Chan.
Yeah, I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong, Japophiles. Oliver Linehan, that is a question, actually. Eric, I command you to read this statement? I don't know, do you? It's either a mispunctuated command or it's a question that's phrased not as a question normally is. No, that's a question. Questions and statements are fundamentally different things. I just made a statement. I'm making another one right now. If I were to say, what is unclear about this to you, Raphael? Well, that previous sentence was a question. They're different. No, that's a question, Raphael. That's why it has a question mark at the end of it. Unless you mispunctuated it. No, questions can't be statements and statements can't be questions. They're different things. One's interrogative, one's declarative, and commands are, I guess you'd say, intensive or compulsive.
As someone
Directive. So, if a word event is interrogative, it is a question. If a word event is declarative, it is a statement. If a word event is directive, it is a command. This isn't complicated, right? No, they couldn't be, like, a command can't be a question too. No, it doesn't work that way. No matter how much you try to mix the two together, one interpretation is correct. It has to be because it's an express language act, which means it represents the illocutionary intention of the speaker. Since the illocutionary intention of the speaker can not be both directive and interrogative at the same time, then it can't be both a command and a question at the same time. And writing in German isn't going to change that. Rhetorical question is a question that you don't actually expect to be answered, maybe.
Yeah,
but it's still a question.
I asked a question that I expected to be answered. That's plain and simple. I actually have another question. I'm gonna try and remember what it was though. It was good. Oh wow.
Was it, why are there so many songs about rainbows?
Aww. And what's on the other side?
Mm-hmm. Rainbows are visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide.
Oh, yes.
Someday we'll find it. Go ahead.
The rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
What's your question?
So I find that there's kind of comfort in me, like having identity. Do you think that's because I'm an NI Dom?
Yeah. In general, I noticed that you want things to be representative of some universal frame of reference. So it's like you're much happier with the idea that you and I are compatible because of type and enneagram compatibility than you are comfortable with the idea that you and I are compatible because of qualities unique to each of us as individuals.
Oh my God.
Because to you, that's not, you sort of can't take that to the bank.
Yeah, I think everyone in a way is.
I think that's an NI conclusion, is to say you can't take that to the bank, you know? The fact is, for an SI user like me, the thing about patterns is they don't really take into account the time investment into an individual. So an NI Dom like Rachel has a harder time feeling secure in a perfectly secure relationship than an SI user like me. The reason in my mind, she should believe this relationship to be very safe and herself very secure in it, is because of a bunch of SI things. After all, we both persisted in this relationship for the duration of it, and for the last almost year, it's like I don't think we've had really a single fight. Any sort of even slight conflict between us tends to immediately become a conversation about that, and
we always feel better after. I always feel better after that.
There's not even hardly anything worth calling a pseudo conflict, you know?
No.
So the thing is, for Rachel, all that time spent having a good relationship is not a good reason to believe the relationship is fundamentally sound. Okay? So for her to feel the relationship is fundamentally sound, she'd like to know that there's a pattern fit that's implicit to each party. Each party is representative of a given pattern that naturally and uniquely fit together, ironically, because she wouldn't want it to be too much of a pattern thing, because then she could easily be replaced by another one of the same pattern. Now, of course, this is an NI concern about this replacing another one of the same pattern, because an SI user doesn't. I see it as the longer I'm with this person, the more of a sunk cost reality I have to face. In other words, fuck, you mean I wasted 2 years on this thing? I wasted 2.5 years on this relationship because I'm trying to resolve the chick problem. There's this fundamental thing in my life that's always I can call the chick problem. Okay. The chick problem is this. I don't like being single. I like to be in a relationship. And I don't like not ever having sexual intercourse. And I don't like having casual sexual intercourse with random people. It's not gratifying at all. And I don't like to have to think about what chick I might want to get into a relationship with or try to date chicks and stuff, because it's a big hassle. It's expensive. It's frustrating. It's embarrassing. Like,
yeah, man, it is embarrassing.
It's awkward.
It is awkward.
It's not fun, you know? So I'm always trying to find my last relationship. And heretofore, everyone I've been with has been proven to be difficult. Have been unable to stay with them ultimately, either because they left me or ultimately because I left them because they were too fucking impossible to deal with. In other words, my experience is the following thing. I get into a relationship, and before I quit on that relationship, both of us are thoroughly fucking miserable. I can guarantee you that.
That's true.
So it's like,
I've heard those stories.
That's what happened with my first wife. Even after she cheated on me, I fucking hammered. I just sort of verbally abused her day after day until finally she said, I can't take this anymore, and left. I know that sounds awful, but when you get cheated on,
I don't know.
It's hard not to.
Yeah.
It's hard not to attack back in some way, and I attack back in the way that I naturally do with my words, you know. So
yeah,
I just spent a great deal of time coming up with new, creative, cutting ways to shame her. And is that being a beta male? Well, anyway, I mean, it certainly was a poor decision to think that the marriage was possibly salvageable. But the thing was, I had a fairly young child at the age, 2-year-old at the time, and I really disliked the idea of a stepfather being in the picture, you know? So I thought, let me see if I can salvage this thing. Let me see if I can basically beat some TI sense into her verbally. Of course, it was impossible. She's ISFP, I think, and there's no point in trying that. So, okay. Hey, Cosmic Pen Star, can you do me a favor? After you smoke that cool, could you also smoke a Newport for me?
Yeah, right? Let's go back to the 80s and 90s.
Because I want to know that, what is it that Newport promises? Oh, I want to be alive with pleasure. That's why. Is it cool? It's Newport, right? It makes you alive with pleasure.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because if that's the best promise a cigarette's ever really made, is to make me alive with pleasure. Wow.
That's a big claim.
I really want to smoke that. It makes me alive with pleasure? Am I currently dead with boredom?
Yeah. Don't drink the Kool-Aid unless you want Kool-Aids. It's a good rhyme, Oliver Lyhan. Should add it to your new rap.
Don't drink the orange juice unless you want Palpoose. That's what we call Gwyneth Paltrow vagina candle with Palpoose.
Papoose?
Yeah.
I like that.
Newports you can smell halfway across the park. Do they make you alive with pleasure? That's the most important thing. Whoever came up with that as their tagline must still be patting themselves on the back. They must still wake up every morning laughing. I told them to put alive with pleasure on their thing, and they did. I would wake up every morning laughing if that were my tagline that I came up with and they actually used it and I see it on a billboard and be like,
making bank just for that.
Well, I mean, the ad company gets paid whatever they get paid, and then they produce the ads, and then the company owns them. So, the other kind of menthol cigarettes, there were Newport's Cools, and there's
Parliament.
Parliaments are not menthols. There's Marlboro Light menthols was the other ones I would typically smoke. There's another kind of ones that used to be common that were menthols. There's another brand like that, like Cool and Newport.
Is there any more of the Captain Jack?
Yes, there is. And here it is.
Thank you.
Right. I wish you hadn't taken it away because you're totally right. That is a cocktail party, bangers and mash, you might say. It's the bangers and mash of a cocktail party. Okay, well, I got one. You want a gold medal? You want a gold medal in bodybuilding in the 1972 Sarajevo Olympics. Okay. I didn't know they had bodybuilding in the Winter Olympics, so that's fine. I'll tell you what I got. It's going to one-up you for sure. I wrote the Newport tagline. Alive with pleasure. I want to just be like, game over. We have a winner. This guy right here is the winner. He wrote alive with pleasure. I mean, no. And then somebody stands, and then somebody else comes out from the corner and goes and puts out it's that really old lady. She puts out Virginia Slim and says, I don't know. I've come a long way, baby. And everyone goes, oh, no, it's the Virginia Slim's tagline, lady? She goes, that's right. And then Alive with Pleasure guy and You've Come a Long Way, baby, lady, have a celebrity death match.
Wow.
You were right all along, Chris Ebert. You doubted yourself. That is why you fail. I am the Yoda of internet force using, and my job is to remind everyone that there is no try. There's only do or do not. I do remember Celebrity Deathmatch.
Me too.
And also that the reason you fail is because you don't believe with your testicles.
Oh.
That's they didn't tell you all about Yoda's instructions to Luke. They didn't show you all of them.
Mm-hmm. No, you can't have all of them.
It involved him. First, Yoda spent a lot of time grabbing onto Luke's testicles saying, tighter, tighter, Luke, tighter, tighter. Finally, when he had him all scrunched up into a little walnut, he said, now. And up came the plane from the swamp. True story.
Oh,
true story. And you know what's weird? Yoda wasn't being a pervert or anything. That's actually the technique.
how did you learn it?
I never was able to master it.
Mm.
Yoda spent 6 years tickling my scrotum, and I never could get it. I said, you know what? Fuck this, Yoda. God. First of all, am I mentioning you stink like my ball sack? If you could remove your testicles and wear them elsewhere, where would you put them? Ooh,
That's a tough question.
If I had to remove them or put them someplace else, I guess the natural place to hang them from is your chin.
Right?
But if I had the choice to not move them, I'd leave them right where they are.
Aww.
Thanks, Rebecca Talibi.
Thank you.
He
makes me laugh. You're a funny guy.
In general, what's more powerful in your estimation? A hobgoblin or a goblin?
Goblin.
Okay, what's more powerful in your estimation, Rachel? A goblin or an ogre?
I think ogre.
Yeah. What's more powerful, do you think, an ogre or a troll?
An ogre.
An ogre is more powerful than a troll. Okay, and what do you think is more powerful? A giant or an ogre?
Giant.
What about a cyclops or a giant?
Cyclops.
So having one fewer eyes makes you more powerful. I tend to agree with that, but it seems odd that it's the case, Because really, Cyclops is just a giant with one eye and a big club. But I guess the lack of depth perception makes them a tougher opponent.
That's kind of how I was feeling. I was feeling it would be more like chaotic for the Cyclops.
Now, what do you think is tougher, a Cyclops or a dragon?
Dragon.
Is dragon the toughest?
Dragons are pretty tough. They've got that fire going for them.
I think archangels are more powerful than dragons.
Dragons, yes. Archangels are more powerful than dragons.
Demigods are more powerful than archangels. 3/4 gods, I guess, are more powerful than demigods. And full gods are more powerful than 3/4 gods. And monotheistic God is more powerful than pantheistic gods. I think that's the order of power in the world of magic.
You figured it out.
Ogres are bigger than trolls, but giants are bigger than trolls, so the INTJ is more powerful. Good logic. I like that. That's excellent logic. I'm sold.
Me too.
One has a syllabic advantage. I think perhaps the finest named of all the creatures is the Beholder, which in Dungeons and Dragons is a giant eyeball that floats around and shoots rays at you.
It floats around?
Yeah, the Beholder.
That's so cray.
Or a Beholder is a creature, Also, we're talking, of course, about advanced Dungeons and Dragons monsters, so please exclude from this conversation any monsters that are not legitimized by Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Master Manual. Obviously, you've got your regular skeletons are pretty weak.
Okay.
And then you've got your Skeleton King. I think they're Skeleton King. But then you have your likes or liches or whatever however you say that. Lich, Those the toughest of the class of skeletons, I think, is the Lich. That's your boss level skeleton. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about slimes and fungi, stealth creatures. So, obviously, you've got your different colored slimes. You've got your black slime, your green slime. I don't know if there are other colors. I don't really remember if there are other colors. But I'm assuming there might be other colors of slimes as well.
Probably.
What other class of creatures do you have in the Dungeon and Dragon creature monster manual? Monster manual, let's just call it. Anybody else remember? I'm running out of creatures so quickly.
Yeah, but your memory for it's really good.
I mean, not really, because I played so much Dungeons and Dragons as a small child. I'm surprised I don't remember those books better. I spent a lot of time reading Dungeon Master. Orcs. There's orcs, of course. Why did I forget about orcs?
Orcs. I've heard of orcs.
What am I thinking? Forgetting about orcs. Crazy Eric.
I want to pet Kitty.
You should. There's giant spiders. Yeah, there's spiders.
Oh, yeah?
Giant spiders, yeah. I think orcs are one of the more commonly encountered creatures that you have to fight in Dungeons and Dragons. You've encountered an encampment of orcs. Several of them have large wooden clubs. The rest have crossbows. They appear to be tipped with poison. Vanguard the Magnificent, you're leading the party. As the paladin in the front, what do you choose to do? Have the mage cast sleep. I can't cast sleep. I don't have that spell. What do you mean you don't have sleep? God, what use are you? I've got light. It's not even dark. Cleric, you cast turn undead. That's not undead. Don't turn. What do you mean it's not undead? They're orcs. They're alive.
Aww.
Okay, tell the orcs to wait while we finish this conversation. Orcs, chill out. I'm arguing with my rest of my party right now. Okay, thief, what can you do? I can try to steal something from them. Fucking useless.
You gonna go up into the chair?
I'll put out my harp and sing a song, says the bard. That's not gonna help. It'll increase your resistance to magic. They don't even use magic, bro. They're orcs. Why did I pick you guys to be my party mates? You guys suck ass. Okay, fine. I attack the frontmost orc with my sword. Your shot with a crossbow is poisonous. Your poison resistance is 0. You're dead in 3 turns. Clerics, you have cure poison? You don't, huh? You don't. You have cure light wounds and light. What level are you? 2? Level 2? I think you said you were level 20. I'm dead. Just fuck it. I'm going home, you guys. This is boring. I don't like this game anymore. And thus did the paladin leave the party. And the remaining characters did just fine on their own.
That's good.
They stopped trying to kill monsters. Is what happened?
They did?
Yeah, well, they went to a bar. The bard played some songs.
Oh.
The thief robbed the patrons.
Oh.
The cleric prayed for their debauched souls because they were consuming alcohol, which is a sin.
Oh.
And the what else was there? Oh, the magic user. She cast light when it got too dark to illuminate.
Seems to be the trend with the
gathering space. So that's really her only spell. She has light, and the cleric has cure light wounds and turn undead.
Oh.
So they're both really low level. They kind of didn't like the paladin anyway, so they could have done more. They could have done more in the fight against the orcs, but they were just kind of like,
damn.
I want him to die of poison.
I'm sorry.
Depends on your religion, Raphael. Depends on your religion. In some religions, it is a sin. Like in the Seventh-day Adventists, they don't drink any alcohol. How about Mormons? They don't drink alcohol.
I don't think Quakers do either.
And what about teetotalers? They don't drink any alcohol. Sleep paralysis. It's a combination of two different spells, Boba Fett. I'm afraid our magic user doesn't have the experience points necessary to level up far enough to catch paralysis yet. Play you a song. I think I'm about, I don't really feel like playing a song right now. I'm not particularly energetic at the moment.
Same.
We took a nap earlier, and I look rested, but I still feel like I need more sleep or something.
Yeah.
And
we do have an in-and-out kitty.
In-and-out kitty sometimes hurts our capacity to sleep.
But
wow.
But then we get our sleep naps in and I work like my hips felt really tight last night, so I decided to sleep on the floor, and it helped. I'm glad I did.
I haven't talked to him yet today. I should go in and chat with him a bit.
Do you want me to go with you?
No.
Okay.
Since Raphael asked for a lullaby song, I'll play him a quick lullaby. So he can go to sleep.
That's nice.
It'll be a German style lullaby. Raphael, go to sleep. You're so tired, and das ist verboten. Raphael, go to sleep. Have some bratwurst in Stuttgart in your dreams. Das ist verboten. It is verboten for you to stay awake any longer. Rest your little German head in sauerkraut and dreams of red and green hats with feathers at the top. Das ist verboten. There.
It's a good idea, Winston's mom. I will live stream more while Eric's sleeping and I'm not. I sometimes think about it, but I'm pretty sleepy now too. I feel like I'm the same wavelength. I wanted to check our biorhythms to see how close we were actually.
Yeah, we're both playing a little bit of sleep slot there.
Yeah. not bad.
Or you might say Sleepy Smurf. There
Oh.
was a Sleepy Smurf, right? Sleepy
I don't
Smurf?
know.
There was a Smurf that slept a lot, I believe.
Oh.
I could be wrong though.
No,
I could just be imagining that. It could be I'm conflating Brainy Smurf and Dead Smurf.
Honestly, I didn't watch the Smurfs that much to know, so
The
I
beautiful,
can't confirm either
beautiful,
way.
deep and meaningful show that comprises the common thread of all human archetype. The Smurfs.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty important, Rachel.
So that's why it only has one girl in the show.
Well, as far as influential documents, it goes Dianetics, Holy Bible, the Smurfs.
Should have known.
My lullaby is There Isn't Any God by Rusty Cage. There isn't any God? Not even a little bit? Not even one? What about Tony Hawk, purported god of skateboarding? What about Buddha, the large brass chubby one, god of Chinese restaurants?
Yeah.
There's an example of a god.
Mm-hmm.
What about Michael Phelps, god of the swimming races in the Olympics?
David Hasselhoff is like God in Europe.
David Hasselhoff is god of the lifeguards.
Yeah, he is.
Yes. Yeah, explain that. If there's no God, then how did he have a son named Jesus? Hmm? Ooh, logic to beat you. Logic for the win. Eric, that's not logic.
I just think of like Phelps when he would like go to dive being like
Slapping himself?
Yeah, with his like long arms.
I mean, I think you would say that
Hello, ENTP.
what's Michael Knight's car's name? Kit? Is that his name?
Morale. Who's
Michael Knight's car's name in Knight Rider?
Oh, I don't know.
Michael, if you'd like, I can switch on to auxiliary mode. That guy, you know?
Yeah, I do know.
Kit. Okay. So I would say Kit is the god of hero car AI partners.
Yeah, totally.
I think he'll always be that.
I think so too.
I don't think there'll ever be another
Kit?
partnership between a hero guy and a car that's quite as emotionally gratifying as one between Michael Knight and Kit.
Yeah.
It's quite as real. It really captivates the viewer as much. First of all, Knight Rider, the car had a red light in the front that went back and forth like this, which made it pretty futuristic in a way that's kind of hard to accomplish these days. We're not nearly as futuristic as we used to be. These days, flashing lights like that, you never see them. It's too futuristic.
Futuristic.
We can't imagine that far in the future anymore. See, the beautiful thing about the Knight Rider car is it's a cross between Mr. Belvedere and a souped up, pimped out, like Thunderbird or something.
Yeah, it was a Thunderbird.
Or what's the imitation like Corvette? It's not a Corvette, but it's like kind of tried to be an imitation one by the other company. I don't know. Whatever it was. Airwolf? Are you saying Airwolf beats the Knight Rider car in terms of vehicle human interface? Like, for example, Oliver Linehand, you are getting very close to the line there. Very close to the line. Thank you, Winston Tom, for encouraging.
That was very close to the line indeed. Oh yeah, thank you.
I like the Knight Rider music a lot. It really sets the tone of suspense and action soon to come.
See, I was young when those were on repeat. So I didn't see many episodes of that.
I think it was right in the heart of I think it was right target demographic when this thing came out. So I was like, that age boy really liked that show, and I liked it.
I probably would have liked it too.
But I was a MacGyver fan until it just got insufferable,
But you know what? I feel like that about Friends. Like, I was a diehard Friends fan until they kept on breaking up and getting back together, Ross and Rachel. And I was like, this is so boring. Can you, mix it up a little?
Yeah, I know.
Either have them together or, don't.
You know what? Just fuck it. Let's end the show with them having a big orgy. All of them just fucking the shit out of each other. Turn NC-17 for one night.
Oh my gosh, did I open a bottle?
And get the actual actors to just... Oh. That's right. Work. Wonderful.
Did I open a can of worms?
No, you didn't. I'm just suggesting that would have been really, I guess, progressive and controversial way to end the show.
No, they ended it perfectly. I mean...
All right, let's look at Octavia Silva's essay.
I saw that the last episode of Friends definitely had me choked up. So I did care about the show. I cared about the show a lot, and that's why it disappointed me. I was just like, God, it's so lame.
Okay, so you present me with a weird conundrum here. Because it's like, I'm not reading it aloud, okay? You still mad that Phoebe and Joey didn't end up together?
I wouldn't have wanted them to get together. But I was okay when Joey and Rachel got together. For some reason, I thought, and then they totally dropped that line. I wanted Rachel and Ross to be together, but
okay. Here's a Friends trivia question. Here's a very precise Friends trivia question. If you really know Friends well, the Nashville 5 with Chris Ebert, realtor. Realtor?
Christy Brinkley was a realtor on the show?
No. Last time when Horsemonger was here, I got scolded for saying realtor, I think is what I said. Oh,
yes, that's right.
I'm supposed to say realtor, not realtor.
Realtor, that's right.
It's like library and library. Anyway,
February and February.
So, let's see. What was I saying? About something important? Oh, yes, a question for Chris Ebert. Who moistened what tip for whom? In all of the series of Friends, who moistened the tip for whom? In what context?
Oh shit.
Boo, beep, boo, 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 wee, wee, wee,
For
wee.
who?
Bow, 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 bow,
Phoebe?
bow, da, dee, doo, bow, 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 bow. If that's too difficult, I will rephrase the question and make it easier. How do you say the car Jaguar? I say Jaguar.
Jaguar, yeah.
I don't say Jaguar.
Jaguar, no.
Anybody want to guess it without the
no.
added clue?
I can't figure it out.
Okay, so here's the additional clue. In which episode did Ross explain to somebody, "Oh, I was just moistening the tip for you," when he took their cigarette out of his mouth? In which episode did Ross say, "Oh, I was just moistening the tip for you," as he took, very good, Chris Ebert,
You got it?
the cigarette from Rachel's dad? That's right.
Oh!
In my favorite Friends episode, the one with two parties.
Yes!
That's my favorite Friends episode. I think that's hilarious.
That was a hilarious episode.
It's classic. They even reference it in the episode, but it is classic Three's Company slapstick confusion. Yeah, the one that keeps your parents
That
apart.
was
It's just
so funny.
Sitcom classic. Right.
Yeah.
He's having to explain why he's first he has to explain why he has the same cigarettes and glasses as Rachel's dad, but he's getting them for Rachel's dad. And of course, Rachel's mom doesn't know Rachel's dad is there, and they're keeping them in separate parties because they're getting a divorce and fighting, and they don't want to ruin Rachel's birthday. So he explained to Rachel's mom that, "Oh, yo, I smoked these. So he puts one in his mouth. In fact, I'm going to have one right now. Instead of saying I'm right now. Put it there, and then when he gets outside, the dad's standing in the hallway, right? He's like, "What are you doing with my cigarette in your mouth?" He goes, "I was just moistening the tip for you." Quite hilarious.
See, honestly, I think that show on a whole really did well. It was a funny show, and it's very rewatchable. You know what I mean?
It's more rewatchable than a lot of sitcoms, for sure.
It is. I just thought it was smarter.
Oh, right, Octavia Silva. So okay, here's the deal.
Oh yeah.
Your paper is your essay here is the weird thing is, it seems like you're just trying to make up some bullshit to get in, but I actually believe what you're saying is not bullshit. But it sounds like somebody bullshitting up some hardship they've overcome to try to appeal to the college board or something. It depends sort of what the topic, the question is. You got to tell me what the question is, right? What's the prompt? And Phoebe could get people out of Monica's burn, right? And so the thing is, when Monica, there's also the hilarity of Monica explained to everybody that they have to push the lids on until they click, or else the markers will dry out. As she's forcing everybody to play her stupid party game.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to leave the party and go to the other party, which was fun.
Okay.
Okay, Octavia, so let me give you some advice about this. If the topic being the time you realize a belief you held was wrong, it really is designed to offer you a chance to prove that you use TI and are objectively self-critical in your position statements. It's not designed to construct an FI personal story around. So you're not giving them what they expect in that regard. You're giving them something else, and they're going to say, this isn't really a belief. This is more self-concept, or I guess you could say it's a limiting belief, but I think you should talk about the evolution of a position over time. So at one point, I believed that meow was this. After hearing various arguments, I've come to hold this more nuanced position about it. It could be meow, 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 right? I think that's what is intended by that topic, really. if I read that essay and I were an essay reader at the college, I would put in the much larger of the two piles, which is waste of time to look at. It's not, in other words, to me, you're not saying anything that matters at all to me as a college admissions person. I don't care about your FI, you know. It's like, not that I personally don't. I'm not saying I don't care about your FI activities. I do care about your FI. I don't care about your FI as the hypothetical college admissions essay reader. But of course, if you get like an ENFP, maybe they do. So I don't know. Do I want to decrease the U.S. nuclear arsenal? It's not a priority. I certainly don't want to increase it. I think that the reason why in general that I would like to see a decrease in nuclear arsenal is that nuclear weapons are very expensive to maintain and keep over time. If you want to maintain a shooting ready nuclear arsenal, then you have to have various missile silos and so forth, right? You've got to have very strong security around those kind of facilities. That kind of stuff costs money, right? So I think we've kind of gone a little overkill on the nuclear stuff. Like, we're over prepared on the nuclear end. And if we're going to spend money doing maintenance stuff, why maintain overkill with nuclear weapons? Like, the most we could possibly need is 100, right? Do we really need more than 100 nuclear bombs? We have way more than that. Right? It just seems kind of sensible to me that, do we really need that many nuclear bombs? It's like, we're planning for after we've used not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not 80, but 98 nuclear bombs. We're prepared for which one we use after that. Right? It's like, okay, at that point, if you've used 98 nuclear bombs already, I don't think you're going to get a chance to use the 99th one. I'm surprised you were able to use 98 of them. Octavia Silva, you should talk about some actual position, like maybe not a super controversial position, but a position where you used to be stridently hard in one fashion, strident in your beliefs, and you've come to see it as more nuanced than that. You know, for example, maybe write an essay that's an attack on partisanship and say, I used to be staunchly left and identified as a leftist and blamed the right a lot, but I've come to understand that this partisan divide is driven by the engine of an agenda-framed blame campaign, and that we're all sort of guilty of it, and I want to move away from that, or something like that. You know, that'd be interesting. Could write an essay how you used to believe C.S. Joseph was an ENTP and now you don't. That'd be way more interesting than what you wrote to most people. You know. At least 8 nations have detonated 2,056 nuclear test explosions at dozens of test sites, including Lebanon and China, the atolls of the Pacific, Nevada, Algeria, etc. Well, Octavia Silva, here's the thing. It's like when I read this, I think this individual did not get anybody to help them with this. Like, in other words, you're very insistent on being your own words, your own thoughts, your own feelings. You're being true to you. And it is true to you, which is not a good way to write a college essay.
Yeah, I tried to do it that way too, and I had to rewrite my whole thing.
Oh, you want
what?
to be honest and true to yourself. College is fundamentally a dishonest proposition to begin with. So forget about it. It's fundamentally dishonest. The claim of college is that somehow you've accomplished something by getting a college degree that you can't accomplish without college effectively, which is ridiculous. That in fact you're more valuable as an employee, or you have certain skills necessary that other people don't because you graduated from college. It's ridiculous, So it's a fundamentally dishonest process. Education in the contemporary status quo will always be dishonest until you get rid of degrees and certificates and grades and stuff like that. Until people get educated in things because they genuinely want to be educated in it, not for some exterior motive, then you will never have meaningful education. College is getting less and less meaningful, but if you want your college application essay to express who you really are or something, I personally, maybe because I'm FI polar, if I were just reading that, I would not believe it. I'd say, oh, you just made this up and it's all just bullshit. And it's like, oh, this is somebody who's trying to make up some hardship to make me feel sorry for them. Now, no, I don't think that about this because I know you, but I'm saying as somebody who's FI polar or TI or whatever, I just go, why are you telling me all this irrelevant stuff? Describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that makes you lose track of all time. Why does it captivate you? Well, 2 cognitive functions. Who or what do you turn to when you want to learn more? Me. Doesn't it seem like these questions are open to FI interpretation? I mean, yeah, I'm not saying there's something inherently wrong with the approach you took. I'm saying that's not a good utilitarian approach. In other words, it's not likely to get you the outcome you want. But remember also, the essay is not likely to be determinate in the outcome anyway. Usually, essays are only used if somebody's really a borderline case and they're not sure or whatever. I'll get you a new one for next time, Chris Ebert, a new question for you. I'll have one prepared. Yeah, that's a good point, Formal Hot. Octavia Silva, have you considered donating a new library? That'll get you in.
Where? Yeah, that exactly. That's what they've proven.
The Octavia Silva Library for the Study of Moisture.
It sounds like they need it there.
Of moisture, feelings, and dewdrops. The Octavia Silva School for the Study of Moistening Feelings and Tender Dewdrops. What would be the acronym of that? Let's see. The Octavia Silva, TOS of Tender Dewdrops. Yeah.
So Octavia Silva, I applied to schools like that too, definitely, because I knew my grades weren't the best for a lot of good colleges, and I had an INTJ help me with the essay, and I also I gave it to my English teacher. So, like, in this case, like, you're kind of the English teacher giving advice. I think you're giving her good advice.
Mhm. Well,
You know,
the acronym of her library or school is going to be TOSS, TEF, mod. TOSS, TEF, mod. Which is the Octavio Silva School of Tender Danglings and Moistened Dewdrops, I believe. Toss Tef mod. I go to Toss Tef mod. What's Toss Tef mod? It's the Octavio Silva School of
library.
Well, no, it's a school. It's a whole. She's donating a whole school's worth of buildings.
She's donating a whole school.
A whole school's worth of buildings.
Wow.
Yeah. So that means like you know how the psychology department will have like buildings that are, you know, the Robert T. Sturgeon Building of Psychology Administration or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I do know.
This is going to have a school, and the acronym for school is TOSS-TEF mod because it stands for the Octavio Silva School of Moistened Danglings. I'm sorry, of Tender Dewdrops and Moistened Danglings. Tender Dewdrops. No, Tender Feelings is TF, TEF, and Moistened Dewdrops is mod. So TEF mod, you know.
Yeah.
They call it TEF mod for short. I go to TEF mod.
So basically, take host Eric's advice and you gotta have some of that beef in there. You just do. You gotta bullshit a little bit. Like I didn't like it either. I didn't, but you have to on college essays, especially if there's ones that it's 50% and you actually really do want to go. You're going to have to like have a compelling story for them to really be like, okay, she's definitely into 50% that's going to get in.
You know, you were born in the back country of French Canada, trapping beavers for a living. You were child labor in the trapping industry of Canada until you were 14. Now, in the nicest possible way, I'd like to rephrase Men Like God's statement there in some really nice words and advise you that indeed college is a bad idea. The only exception being if you're getting a debt-free free ride or, you know, like for example, it might make sense if your parents have a 509, which is a kind of account that is a savings account for your kids' college education, that if you use it for that, you never have to pay any taxes on it. If you use it for something else, you have to pay a significant tax penalty, right? So, and if it's that case, if it's that situation, then it might be, in fact, probably is wise to get your college degree and take advantage of whatever remnants of sort of higher earning benefits that it still has. If you go to Harvard, then you don't have to pay anything if you're poor. And you don't go into debt. Harvard has such a large endowment that ability to pay plays no role in if whether or not you go there. I didn't know that. And if you get admitted and you can't pay anything, you have no debt. You just go there for free. Why don't you share the link with Oliver Linehan?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what he thinks about it, because he's more feely mushy than me. So
true, he'll help you.
I read that thing and go, and why do I care?
No, but you're not wrong.
Just again, not me personally about you. I do care about you. Okay, so
that's why you're giving the advice.
As a college admissions essay reader, I'm just gonna go. Okay, I don't care about this.
I'm telling you, I had the same exact problem. Mine were just like, I was like, I want to make it personal, but I like couldn't get the words out, like, and it just didn't sound good. I had help. I had help with mine. If you can get help on it.
Don't be embarrassed, Octavia. So what I'm telling you is I recognize that story is important to you. You're not trying to bullshit the admissions reader person.
Right.
What I'm saying is that it's hard to get it to read like that because so many people try to fake that kind of stuff that for it to be real is hard for any writer to accomplish in that context. It's like you're trying to tell a real story about something that's genuinely important to you, but it doesn't resonate as big. Like I spent 6 years in a forced labor camp in Cambodia, for example, has some pop to it as a personal thing to overcome in terms of NI resonance, you know, how much it resonates universally. For somebody who doesn't identify at all with your experience, it's going to be hard to sell them on the significance of it. Okay. I think I want to end this live stream. We're just going to take a medicine. I'm going to, I don't know, Mugity the Pig Piao or something like that. One of those things. Not sure.
I love you.
And the thing is, Octavia Silva, it's one of those situations where if I were to try to do corrections on it, it would be challenging for me because it's like I possibly could help you improve it as what it is, but it sort of runs counter to my instincts as a consultant to help somebody take what I think is basically the wrong approach better. It's something I have a problem with in my current clients as well. So, okay. Close your eyes. Give me your hand, darling. Can you feel my heart beating? Do you want some cheese? Do you want some cheese? Or am I only dreaming? Is this burning an eternal flame? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. I saw her being precious and scratching. Not you, Rachel, the cat.